Hello, thanks again for tuning into our videos. Today what I'm installing here is a 12 by 24 porcelain tile on a concrete slab. But you see that green on that slab, that there's a slight crack in the slab there, so I painted a crack prevention membrane on there. In this case I use a Latacrete Hydroban waterproofing and crack prevention membrane. I did a coat on there. I'm setting the tile with a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square notch trowel. The thin set I was using in this case was Latacrete Trilite. So like I said in my previous videos, always key in your substrate with the flat side of your trowel. Then notch it out, combing it in one direction, that way the air can escape, getting you good coverage. Now this is my process of installing this small floor. It's about 30 square feet here, so this is my process of installing it on this slab. This slab right where I'm sitting, it had a slight dip in the center. I'll show you here in a second on my shred. Try to take up the two tiles and make my adjustments to get them nice and flat. And I'm also using a lippage tuning system. This one is Ramondi RLS, aka RLS, and it's a simple system. It consists of clips and wedges, and they act kind of like a clamp, and they pull the tiles into plane, giving you very flat, lippage-free tile installation. Please enjoy the video. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments, and please subscribe. Thank you. Okay, now that I have these two tiles set, I'm checking it for flatness with my shreddage. Now when you do any type of grid pattern like this, you don't have to be perfectly flat, because when you have a tile that's in a grid pattern, it's going to kind of go with the floor somewhat. But you want to get it as flat as possible, especially when you do a running bottom installation. When the tile lands, the joints don't line up, you know, similar to a brick pattern, any type of offset pattern. Proper term for that would be running bond pattern. This is a simple grid pattern. So I checked that first row, and it had a little dip in it, maybe about a 1/16 or so. So I want to make sure that's flat, because if you go to set your next row and that first row is dipping down, then that's going to be the rest of the whole floor. It's going to have to get pushed down the same way so it all lines up. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that that first row is as flat as you could possibly get it. Everything else is going to follow that. So when I lift the tile, I'm not going to just take a margin trowel and just spot it. What you want to do is take the notch part of your trowel and just add some, notch it out. Don't just spot some areas, because you're going to leave a void. So just add some as you need with the notch. Like I said, make sure you don't spot the towel. You're just going to leave a blob and put a void somewhere. So add it, notch it out, and then check it again with your shreddage. Make sure it's nice and flat, and then continue your installation. Okay, now that I've made my adjustments, I'm going to grab my shred edge, make sure it's nice and flat. So I push down, that way if there's any high spots on the ends or the middle, I'm just going to push it down and make it nice and flat. So once you get that first row nice and flat, move on nicely from there. to keep your grout joints clean, especially with these leveling systems, or aka lippage tuning systems. What's going to happen with that clip that's in between the joints, it's plastic, so that thin set will bond to it somewhat. So you want to keep it as clean as possible, so you don't, when you go to knock it off the next day, sometimes they will get stuck in the joint. You'll have to cut them out with a razor knife. And if you have to do that, it is a possibility that you could chip a tile, so you got to be very careful. So work as clean as you possibly can. What I'm using here is just a nylon, stiff nylon brush. You can get these at most tile suppliers. These stay pretty good for a while, but they're pretty stiff, so they'll last. I mean, I wear them out pretty quick since I do it every day for a living, but they will last for a while and keep your grout joints nice and clean. So either use a brush like that. Some guys will use a margin trowel pencil. I found the brush keeps it the cleanest. Or if you really want to get particular, you get a really small fine brush and get every little bit out there. That's up to you how clean you want to work, but that's how we go about installation with these 12x24s using a lippage tuning system. Thank you for tuning in. Please to tune in to part 2 for grouting this floor.